Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, my name is Diptii Shah and welcome to my show, Artistry. Today's art is hiking. If you are in Hong Kong, you most probably hike. Let us welcome Miss Charmaine Rangel, who is an avid hiker and also runs her own blog on hiking. Hello, Charmaine, and welcome to my
Hello.
show.
Hello, Dipti. Thank you so much for having me on your show. It's really a pleasure that you have included me in your, artistic, yeah, for celebrities. Yeah, thank you so much.
My
Yeah.
pleasure. Thank you for coming. So, Charmaine, when did your love affair with hiking begin?
So my love affair with hiking began in 2014. We moved to Hong Kong in February 2014, and we had just moved from Dubai. So I was not the healthiest, not the most shapely, uh, and I used to spend my afternoons like walking around when my son would go. He had joined a Montessori for 3 hours. So when he was in school, I would just walk around in the area where I live. So we had moved and we were living in Saiwan Ho. So I would walk around, and that's where I started finding trails. I when I moved, I was so ignorant of the fact that Hong Kong was famous for hiking. But on those 3 hour rounds, I found a lot of trails within, say, Saiwan Ho itself. And that's how I realized that, yeah, I do love hiking and I love being in nature. And yeah, it was a good form of exercise too. Yeah, 7 years
So, were
ago.
you always a very, athletic kind of person, or did you discover that you are now?
I discovered that athletic side of me in Hong Kong. Before that, I was very much, I had a seated job that was banking. I was with HSBC back home in Bombay. So it was only work, work, and work. But moving to Hong Kong really, it showed me a very different side. I didn't know that I had this side of me, to be very honest. So yeah, thanks to Hong Kong, and yeah, I really came to know this athletic side of me.
Charmaine, you were a non-hiker. From being a
Yes, yes,
non-hiker who had not probably even thought, that one day you are going to be
right.
such an avid hiker. How does that transformation happen?
I don't know. Just I realized with time that I enjoy being in nature. For me, uh, this is a form of like hiking is a form of meditation. I can't sit still, and I can't do yoga, which I really want to try too. But for me, just being in nature and being by myself. So moving to Hong Kong really helped me to learn, or to find one. It helped me find myself, or one, it helped me to find being alone normal. Like people say, oh my god, you go hiking solo and you like being alone, and yes, it's absolutely fine, and I do enjoy that part. And in Hong Kong, which is pretty safe, uh, you can hike alone. So that's where I realized hiking alone and being in nature, and you would just like you would come across the most beautiful flowers, and and even insects. I mean, people may cringe when I say insects, but I've not seen such beautiful insects and flowers and all kinds of flora and fauna on hikes. So
Right.
that's where, yeah, it just, yeah, I don't know. I really never knew I had that side of me.
What about the physical side, Charmaine? Because when people do not want to take up a physical activity, they have a variety of reasons for it.
Right.
Did your mind really come up with those, excuses?
No, so you start slowly. So I started slowly. I just didn't like start with climbing like Tai Mo Shan, the highest peak in Hong Kong. I started slowly. Maybe if you're a new hiker, like you start, maybe take a short walk. Don't do like 10, 20 kilometers in your first hike. Maybe start with two or three. Maybe start with a slight incline. Don't start with a very steep ascent, something like that. So, and you need to build stamina. So I think I used to walk for about 2-3 hours. So automatically, stamina develops with time. Yeah, and it just happened. You know, I don't follow any diet. I love I love food, so I think that's the reason I hike, because that's my only form of exercise. Uh, you
Right.
know,
Right.
yeah. So yeah, I started slow, and yeah, and it's also dependent on your mental strength. Uh, you really need mental strength to push you to sometimes finish to reach a summit. So it really mental strength does play an important role in hiking too. I would say that. Yeah.
So, how do you prepare for a hike once you've decided that this is where I want to go?
Yes, so I have this I have this backpack. It's a camelback. I've had it now for nearly 8 years, and it comes with a little pouch with which you can fill 3 liters of water. It varies. So about 3 liters of water I carry, 2 to 3 liters of water. That's very important for me. I need water, and it has this zipper, so you don't have to always unzip the bag and take a bottle. So it's got a little pipe. The people would call it like a little filter. So and so that's something which I carry. I carry sunscreen. Yeah. I carry mosquito repellent, which is important, especially now when you go into the greens. You tend to, yeah, face a lot of these insects, small midgets or mosquitoes. And sometimes my sunglasses. I don't carry energy bars, but I carry dates. Yeah. And very rarely I carry a Pocari sweat or, these electrolytes. But mostly I stick to water. I also carry a banana with me. Yeah.
Right.
And obviously money and your octopus and stuff like that. But yeah, this is what I carry. There are some people who carry a hiking stick, but I've never carried a hiking stick. I don't feel the need of it. And also gloves. But if when I do hikes which need a bit of clambering, that is climbing, I stick to my hands, bare hands. But yes, if you're not comfortable, I would suggest carry gloves too. So something like that. That's what I normally do. This is what I carry.
And what about the clothing? What kind of clothing do you advise people to wear when they are going for a hike?
So like luckily we are blessed with different seasons in Hong Kong. So now, for example, in winter, like I feel very cold because I'm from Bombay, which is an equatorial climate. So I do feel cold. So I have this like I wear like a thick sweater, not a sweater, but a sport. Columbia has this heat tech t-shirt, so I wear that. I wear a jacket on top, and I wear tights. So I have these Columbia tights, or I have what you say, these Columbia rainproof pants, which I wear. Or you can just wear your normal, your leggings. Yeah, but it should be comfortable. And I stick to hiking shoes. And you do get hiking socks too, which you get it in any of these sports shops. So I stick to that. I wear that. And I do wear hiking shoes. I always suggest it's better you wear your hiking shoes, because sometimes the paths can be slippery. So it's better to have some, firm grip, especially when climbing. That's what.
Talking about shoes, I understand
Hmm.
that there are three kinds, something like walking, running, and then hiking.
Right.
So tell us more about these in brief.
Okay, I also didn't know about these shoes till I moved here. But so I don't run. But yes, you get different types of shoes for running. Hiking has a bit of there's more grip on it. There are what can you call them? There's more how to say, especially when you're climbing like rocks and all, it actually uh, fixes onto the rock or to the gravel. So that's why
Right.
you need something like that. Whereas
Okay.
when you run, the surface is very smooth. You have a smooth surface at the back of the shoe. Whereas here, there are these grits.
Right.
Like there are these grids behind the shoe in a hiking shoe. And, they also have something to protect your toes.
Okay.
Because when especially when you're descending from a peak, you tend to bang against rocks. So it protects your toes, especially, from getting hurt. So that's the difference between, your hiking shoes and your running shoes and other kinds of sport shoes. Yeah.
Right. So what are the top one or two companies that that's your go-to for all this hiking gear?
So I normally stick to Columbia, and of late I've been using the Salomon shoes, which I find are very good. The hiking shoes are very good. So I'm happy with Salomon and also Merrill. So I mean, in the past 8 years, I've used like three different because yeah, but Columbia, Salomon, and Merrill are good shoes, are very good shoes. Yeah, for hiking.
So Charmaine, when did you start, your own blog about hiking? Tell us about your blog.
Okay, so I'll give you a bit of history. So when we moved to Hong Kong, I made a friend. I made some friends who also were interested in hiking. Now they've moved out. Uh, so this friend of mine, Sheetal, she and I would hike every Saturday. And then she told me, like, you're so good in finding all these hikes. Why don't you document it? Why don't you, prepare a blog or come out with something like that? And in 2018, I decided to do that. So at the beginning, it's nearly 4 years now. It's 4 years exactly where I've started this blog. Uh, so the aim was like, I'm pretty directionally challenged. I like to see pictures. I think I'm more a pictorial person. So I like to see a picture and say, okay, I need to go here. So that was the idea of starting the blog, to help people who are directionally challenged like me. And sadly, everyone thinks that women are directionally challenged, but it's not always true. Yeah. So that was the aim. And also to give directions, to give, the duration, the difficulty level uh, through pictures. And also, to show them what you're missing, or what you can see on a hike. That was the aim of starting this website or blog of mine.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
this blog, as you said, is divided or rather structured according to the difficulty level. Now, what are the
Yeah.
difficulty levels that you have?
So I've not actually structured it that way, but I've in now each, say for example, say I'll take a Tai Mo Shan hike. Now Tai Mo Shan is the highest peak in Hong Kong. I would rate it as difficult because it's quite cumbersome climbing. It's a steep climb. You're doing 953 meters high in a certain number of hours. So it's quite a steep climb. So in the heading itself, I'll write Tai Mo Shan hike difficult. So when people have to search, they come to know, suppose they do difficult, all the difficult hikes will come out in the blog. If they do medium, all the medium hikes come out, up, come forward, and so forth with the easy hikes. So yeah, so something like that. That's how I've structured it on the blog.
Yeah, it sounds like a very easy to use, tool for hiking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's also the translation. I've given a thing of translation. So if people are not very familiar with English, they can translate. You can read it in like Cantonese, in Mandarin, and Hindi, whichever language is there. So there are, yeah, you can translate the website too.
All
You can get
right.
a translation. Yeah.
That is amazing. You have recently started, or rather, you've been doing it for a long time. Tell us about your group hikes.
So the group hikes actually started in December 2017. So I have a WhatsApp group, called Hiking Chicks of Hong Kong. Yeah, that's the name I gave it. And I conduct hikes. I specify, like, I'll say, good morning, we're going to do this hike on so and so, like Tuesday. And I'll specify uh, the difficulty. Mostly it could be another person, it could be a blog of another person. So I go through it. I specify the difficulty, how long it would take, and I give them a meeting point. I also tell them, please don't forget to get your water, so and so, etc., etc. And yeah, but earlier there were people, like there would be 30 people or more. Now I've restricted it to maximum 15 or maybe say 12 because of the pandemic, and it's easier managing a smaller group. what happens?
Right.
It's very difficult to mingle on a personal level with 30. So your 10 to 15 makes it a little more cozy, yeah. So it's, yeah. I've been doing that since 2017. Yeah, end of 2017. You can say 2018. I've been doing this. Yeah.
Right. And this is like this is for free of cost. There is no
There's
charge.
no charge at all. It was actually with the idea of many people, so many irrespective of your nationality, many people move to Hong Kong and they do feel a bit lonely. So this was a way of people meeting others, or maybe even just hiking, together as a group, something to look forward to. So it kind of
Right.
helped quite a few women, I would say.
Right. So you have
That was
a
the idea.
hiking community kind of a
Yes,
thing
yes,
going
yes,
on.
yes.
Right.
Yeah,
On a lighter note, Charmaine, for people who do not hike for any reason, what are your
yeah.
top three things that you want to tell them?
You can start, to be honest, see, for me, I really was not a hiker, but you can really start small. You can just, like, if you want, go to the peak, take a taxi if you want up to the peak and just walk around the peak, the morning trail, or there's a little circular walk around the peak. And that is fantastic itself because you get such lovely views. There's lovely flora and fauna there too. So you can start small. You can take a walk on Bowen Road. I'm just giving you examples of hikes on the island because that's where I'm based. But just Bowen Road, it's a straight walk. So something like that. You can start small. You don't have to go and climb, Taimo Shan or Lion's Rock, but you can start small, build your stamina. And yeah, just because there are a lot of, country trails which is possible for beginners. You can, yeah, and you can take a break, carry a sandwich, carry some tea, take a break and then continue, or you can always turn back.
So, Charmaine, where can people follow you and contact you for your hikes?
So they can follow me on my blog, which is hongkonghikinglover.com. Yeah, I know the name sounds a bit funny, but it's purely hiking. And I also have a Facebook page where it's same Hong Kong Hiking Lover. It's known as Honky Hiker. Yeah, yeah, I don't know how it, yeah. And yeah, you can follow me there too for
Right.
all my adventures and hikes in Hong Kong.
So, Charmaine, last question. What are your
Yes.
top three tips for success in anything that we do in life?
Perseverance. One is perseverance. Yes. And you need to be self motivated. It's only you. I mean, for example, now hiking, no one can push me. It's all me. And yeah, you need to believe in yourself. Yes. So self belief, self motivation, and perseverance. And yes, mental strength. Yeah, mental strength is very important.
Thank you
Yes.
so much, Charmaine, for sharing such practical tips on
Thank you.
hiking. And thank you so much for running that blog for every one of us to use. Thank
Thank
you
you
for
so
coming
much.
on my show.
Thank you, Dipti. Thank you so much for having me. Yes. Thank you.
My pleasure.